everyone, my name is Bao, and today I'm going to tell you about private spaceships. Since there were private airplanes, private cars, and everything. Now, what do we have to tell spaceship? Private means that one person or a family can own it, not public. So, if to get a private, you need a lot of money. A heck of it. The end of an era. In the early morning darkness on July 21, 2011, the space shuttle Atlantis touched down at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida after spending 12 days in space. It was the 135th time a space shuttle had flown a mission since the shuttles began flying in 1981. It's also the last time a NASA space shuttle will make a journey through space. So I guess NASA was maybe going for retirement now. I guess. The space shuttle was the first reusable spacecraft. Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlas, Atlantis, and Endeavour, I guess. For 30 years, space shuttles were focused on the space program in the U.S. The shuttles carried people and scientific experiments into Earth's orbit, launched, recovered, and repaired satellites, and helped assemble the largest structure in space, the International Space Station, or the ISS. Once the Atlanta touched down, however, these spacecraft would only be seen on display in museums. By 2011, space shuttles were getting old, but that wasn't the only reason they retired. They were also expensive to launch and difficult to maintain. The shuttles could be used to do such amazing things that no other spacecraft could do, such as grabbing satellites from orbit and returning them safely to Earth. Experience has shown, however, that using space shuttles for simpler tasks such as launching satellites or delivering people and supplies to the ISS was too expensive for NASA to continue. Many people were sad to see a shuttle program end, but times were changing. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, was getting out of business for carrying people and things back and forth between Earth and space. Instead, NASA was returning to its original mission of focusing on space science and exploration. NASA's plan to plan new missions to send robotic rovers, and people to exciting destinations such as Mars. For the first time, the agency made the decision to turn the table around. Well, that's my work. The dawn new era. Commercial companies had a lot to learn. Building spaceships were challenging. Designers and engineers must build vehicles that can function safely while using dangerous fuels, traveling at high speeds, and operating in extreme temperature. They also have to create the system that keeps the spaceship flying on course. Okay, so this is Yuri Gagarin's spaceships. Okay, so this now is the Gemini Titan. I guess that. When the space age began in the late 1950s, only the world's two superpower, the U.S. and the Soviet Union, they had the money, resources, and technology to build vehicles that could travel to space. Over time, though, more nations and even commercial companies entered space building and business. In 1960s, private companies began building their own communication satellites. Like, since NASA was just a company, there are still more companies like SpaceX. And I think Elon Musk maybe owns that company, I guess. Doesn't make sense. I don't know much, but forget it. Though they still relied on government launch vehicles to carry them up to space. By the 1980s, private companies were building their own rockets for launching satellites into orbit. By the mid-1990s, it was clear that things were changing. Smaller, newer companies were entering the space business. What these companies lacked in experience, they made up for enthusiasm. Computers and other advances in technology have put space within reach of many enterprises. Companies were competing with each other for a piece of space business. Today, commercial companies are planning 4 kinds of space missions, taking tourists to the edge of space and back, delivering supplies and equipment to crews that are already in orbit, ferrying crews back and forth to space stations, and putting up new space stations on their own. That was a hard thing to read. Second space race. Oh, rapid. Yeah, this was the first private spacecraft. In 1996, a non-profit educational foundation announced the special competition to speed up development of private spaceships. The Ansari X Prize, the $10 million prize, would go to the first private company to successfully build and pilot a spaceship into space with at least just a person aboard and room to carry 2 others. To win the X Prize, the spaceship would have to fly at least 62.1 miles up, return to Earth, and then do the whole trip over again within 2 weeks. 2017, from 7 countries joined the competition, but it took over 8 years for someone to claim the $10 million prize. Who knows about just using 2 weeks while using 8 years? So that was treason, to me, I say. An American company called Scale Composites won with its vehicle Spaceship One. The small space plane successfully made the first privately funded human space flights in 2004. Wow. So this was the Spaceship One. To win the prize, the Scale Composites uses 2 vehicles to work together. The Spaceship One didn't take off from one way like an airplane or a blast on top of the rocket. Instead, it was carried high to the sky under a special airplane known as the White Knights. That's great. Once the White Knight had carried the Spaceship One up to 50,000 feet, it released the space plane beneath its belly. Within seconds, the Spaceship One's rocket engine roared, pushing the vehicles to over 3,000 miles per hour. Almost 4 times the speed of sound. And I think, to me, it's like 12 times the speed of a DeLorean. So, I guess if this spaceship had a flux capacitor or something, you can maybe just travel space travels. That's all. So that's good. The small space plane then climbed past 62.1 miles, just beyond the edge of space. Okay, so that's kind of cheating. Ticket to Ride. Spaceship One was the forerunner of a